Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another 2024 election video. A lot of stuff here today. We've got liberals left and right still trickling out on social media saying they're pissed off, they're angry that Donald Trump was not killed. And a lot of them, they've been brainwashed by the media. This is legitimate. You want to talk about, the media and the left and the rhetoric with Donald Trump being Adolf Hitler 2.0. They think, if they kill Trump, they're a hero. So I would not be surprised at all if we did get a second assassination attempt against Trump. Many of these people were not fazed by the first one. Again, they were very sad that it did not happen, and they would be throwing parties if Trump was hit in the head and died immediately. That's just the reality of this party. No. They are the tolerant left. They care about gay people. They're nice. They're nice people. We've also got this Donald Trump, some type of leaked thing that RFK had to tweet about. When President Trump called me, I was taping with an in-house videographer. I should have ordered the videographer to stop recording immediately. I am mortified that this was posted. I apologize to the president. It's Trump talking about, and you can see questioning whether childhood vaccines are causing unwanted changes in children. And that's something that is big in terms of RFK and what he said. And Trump's talking to him about it, maybe placating to him a little bit. At the end of it, the leaked audio, it seems like he wants RFK's endorsement. He was telling him, for your sake, for my sake, drop out, endorse me. That's what it kind of seemed like he was getting at. So this got leaked, and some people are mad about it. I don't think it's really a big deal, but it is kind of strange that this came out and RFK Jr. immediately saying he's sorry about it, but that did happen, and there is speculation. I've talked about it. RFK Jr. possibly dropping out and endorsing Trump. Trump possibly going up by 1 or 2 points. We've got a huge poll out of Virginia now that has Trump up 3. I actually don't know if that poll was after the assassination attempt. I'm going to have to see that. I've got it saved here. We're going to go down to it. We've also got, just more situations. I was watching a podcast or a live stream last night on YouTube, and I've got some info on Thomas Crooks. There's videos circulating. Some of them are fake, some of them are not. There's a few videos of him getting bullied, kids doing what they do. They were grabbing his leg and kicking him. There was another video of him sarcastically saying stuff, about having a 10-inch penis. That's just something high schoolers do. But the kid does seem like a weirdo. Something is not adding up. In my opinion, there is zero chance that this kid out of the blue. And I think what they might try and go with is, oh, he wanted fame, so that's why he's doing this. That's why you're seeing these things like, well, he was a registered Republican, but he donated to the Democrats when Biden was elected. It's all so cloudy, and the idea that this kid, what they're telling us, if he wants fame, he doesn't have social media. They hacked into his phone yesterday, and nothing's come out. Now, I think we just have to let stuff leak. I agree. We don't want to make any crazy assumptions, but it seems like this is set up to be like, oh, he's some weirdo that wanted fame or something, because they're like, oh, he's a registered Republican. The thing is, they don't want him cast as this crazy liberal nut that's taken all this stuff from the media, digested it, and now he's radicalized against Trump because, this has happened so many times. There are people on TikTok that are mourning because Donald Trump was not shot directly in the head. That is happening. So while the media, they say, oh, this is terrible, we can't have political violence, all of the supporters, of MSNBC, CNN, whatever, and by the way, I do have something to say. There's this thing that's on DirecTV, and I'm not a big fan of DirecTV, but they have this thing where it's like the Newsmax or the Newsbox, and you've got 6 different news channels all on the same screen. And I watched it yesterday for the first time, and you can see Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, and MSNBC and CNN are right next to each other. MSNBC, and I'm sure you guys know this, is far more left than CNN. And CNN is terrible too. Van Jones, the fake crying, the hissy fit yesterday. J.D. Vance is the worst white supremacist in history. Meanwhile, look at his wife. It's all crocodile tears. It's all crap. They just want you to vote Biden. It's it's all fear-mongering. I don't think people buy that stuff at this point. If you're watching CNN, you know what you're going to get. But at least CNN was showing during day 1 of the RNC, and there were some decent speeches there towards the end, but they were at least showing the speeches. MSNBC, it was Joy Reid. It was just constant. They were literally they were at the RNC. They were not showing the speeches. They were just constantly attacking J.D. Vance, attacking Trump. They're all racist. It's disgusting. So I'm sure you guys already knew that, but it was interesting to see side by side MSNBC versus CNN and see the difference there. But you can see when it comes to this, despite public reports of a gunman, despite shooters seeing him snipers seeing him, despite law enforcement identifying and photographing the shooter. By the way, when are those photographs going to come out? There's reports now that the shooter was on the roof 25 minutes before the actual shooting, so he got up on the roof, maybe scouted it, got back down. This is all ridiculous, and it's been confirmed now. What I had speculated and hypothesized yesterday, they had that building that the shooter was crawling on and basically almost killed Trump. They had, security police in that building. It's like, imagine they're in that building and they hear something and it's the dude crawling about to kill Trump. This doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, and I don't know how long it's going to take to come out, but this is just the lack of protocols here, and the idea that they would just leave this open. It's not possible, man. It's not possible with someone like Trump to leave a spot like that open when that's the #1 spot if you want to get a higher vantage point on a slope on a roof. And they did say, the Trump supporters did say, he did hide himself good because of the angle of the roof going down. But evidently he didn't do it fast enough because there's Trump supporters with video of him readjusting his position. So none of it makes sense. The kid apparently was bullied. They're going to say he's some weirdo. I mean, he does look, like a weirdo. I understand, but that's the situation right now. And we'll have to see, what the narrative actually is. This whole thing where he's got zero social media, they know there's going to have to be a motive. Remember the 2017 Las Vegas shooting? There was no motive with Stephen Paddock. He ended up killing like 45 people, and they said there's no motive. They got scans of his brain. There was nothing wrong with it. With this kid, it's not going to work. There's going to have to be a motive. They're going to have to say something. Will it try and be swung like, oh, he wanted attention, he wanted to be famous? Because I feel like that's kind of the way it's trending right now, because they've got the whole both sides thing. Well, he donated $15 to the Democratic PAC, but he's also a registered Republican. They said he voted in the 2022 midterms. I wonder who he voted for. But there is that. Just dipped in for a few minutes of Morning Joe. It's clear MSNBC brass made the right decision keeping them off air yesterday. They probably should have done it for the whole week. Those people are totally demented. Morning Joe came on, at like 7 a.m. He was pissed off. He's like, I don't know. They told me they were going to show just live coverage of, what's going on with Trump and an update on the investigation. And then they ended up actually showing, I guess, their own talk shows. And Morning Joe's like, I mean, they're literally babysitting Morning Joe at this point. He needs like a sippy bottle. They have to keep him off the air because they're afraid he's going to say something that's going to destroy their network. That's how bad it is. He is literally a grown-ass baby. And then he goes on like a 3-year-old who doesn't get his sippy cup and starts bitching that, oh, why wasn't I on yesterday? Because they were literally afraid you were going to say something that was going to destroy their network about Trump and how he deserved it. That's what it is. So MSNBC is obviously in a horrible spot. We've got MSNBC here. This is them at the Republican National Convention. Rachel Maddow saying, quote, J.D. Vance, I think, widely considered to be the most radical choice. The only person who was more excited than J.D. Vance was Vladimir Putin. No, yes, you're right. So guys, the liberals have told me this is what happened. I mean, apparently Vladimir Putin has hacked J.D. Vance's brain, just like Russia did in 2016 when they hacked all of our brains and forced us to vote for Donald Trump. They hacked J.D. Vance's brain. I mean, obviously, I'm being sarcastic. These people are just so ridiculous. I have to be sarcastic to make fun of them because it's the lunacy of it all. But the other thing is, there's a conspiracy from someone, like one of the reporters or like one of the correspondents that they go to on MSNBC, that Russia staged the Trump shooting. So there's also that. So Trump agrees to almost be shot at Clips's ear. And now, and this is another thing that I heard from some liberal woman, she's like, they all blame Trump. He's the cause for all this political violence, and then she says, political violence has been going on for a while now. Huh? When was the last assassination attempt, sweetie? It was during Reagan, basically over 4 decades ago. But no, you're right, honey. Every other day we've got a president up there speaking and a bullet goes right by and clips his ear. Every other day. You're right. That's political violence. It's like they try and downplay it by saying, oh, political violence has been happening all the time. No, you're right. We get an assassination attempt every other day. You're right. Yeah. So see, they're trying to downplay it. They're totally ridiculous. They've got no argument. The FBI, DHS warn of possible retaliation attack on Trump. Oh yeah, but you know, there's the excuse to get Biden and blame it on the right. We do not want. Listen, we want to face Biden for sure. Biden's got the worst approval rating, one of the worst approval ratings in history. First appearance of Trump. Oh my goodness, an oversized ear bandage. Apparently not needed prior to tonight. I don't even think Trump made appearances prior to tonight. I'm not sure what they're insinuating here, but yeah. I mean, they're the tolerant left. No, but these are not the conspiracy theorists. But they think it's staged, you know. They bought hook, line, and sinker into the Russian hoax. You know, our brains were hacked in 2016. That's why we voted for Trump. I agree. And now, I mean, Trump stages this. You know, they're not conspiracy theorists. You know, these are, you know, obviously they believe this, but there's no way that they could have stolen the election. Absolutely. It lines up perfectly. They're very consistent. We've also got, this is treason. They deliberately starved Trump's security detail of manpower and resources. A security operations plan had placed each of the 3 counter snipers inside of the building, looking out from the windows towards the rally with none stationed on its roof. So now they're saying that there were 3 counter snipers inside the building. What sense would that make? They're at ground level. They're a counter sniper and they're not getting a better vantage point. I don't even know if this is true. They're inside of that building that the Crooks was on. They're inside of it. They don't have the vantage point on the roof when you've got the other counter sniper right next to Trump who is on a roof at a higher, at higher ground, because that preferably that's where you would be. You can't just, you know, if you're a sniper looking into a sea of people, you want to have the higher vantage point. This is all ridiculous. None of this makes sense. We're going to have to see what ends up coming out. We've also got this. Oh, was this from the 3rd? This is like from July 4th almost. This is a while ago. It seems like Trump up by 3 over Biden. This is Virginia Commonwealth, so the college, they're doing this poll in Virginia, and I wonder if this is going to get added to the Real Clear Politics. I think it will. This seems, yeah, this is a good pollster, so that's huge news for Trump. I think this, you know, Trump's going to continue to go up by a lot. It is what it is. It's one of the most badass events in the history of presidencies we've seen. They say Trump fell asleep at the RNC on his first night. He just got there. Well, you know what my reaction to this is? You know, drats. Liberals had a great chance to kill Trump. He was asleep. Why didn't they do it? I mean, they're the tolerant left. I'm asking, you know, all these people, they want Trump dead. Drats. God, we were so close. But obviously Trump's just praying here and they're just lying again. Morning Joe hosts are fuming at MSNBC for pulling them off the air over on July 13th. We are very surprised and disappointed. Well, obviously they treated you like a first grader. I mean, obviously they're going to be very angry at that. And then we also had this Biden interview that happened last night. It's interesting to see how much of a non-factor this interview is. Lester Holt, I mean, you know, the Biden campaign had scheduled these to try and do damage control for Biden after the horrible debate, but nobody cared about this interview, obviously, with the RNC. Obviously, the bigger story, Trump making the appearance after the assassination attempt. Lester Holt finally asking, who do you deeply listen to on deeply personal issues and decisions like whether to stay in the race or not? And he's obviously asking this because it's been widely reported that he listened to Hunter Biden and Jill first and foremost, and that's why he stayed in. Biden had no answer. Long pause. You know, I listened to me. Here, we can play this and see. Turn up the volume of this.
Deeply personal issues like the decisions whether to stay in the race or not.
Me? Look, I've been doing this a long time.
We know.
The idea that I'm the old guy. I am. I'm old. But I'm only 3 years older than Trump, number one. And number two...
It's funny how they're still trying to do that. Trump just survived an assassination attempt. A bullet grazed his ear. 30 seconds later, he gets up, points a fist with blood streaming down his face. But no, Biden and Trump are around the same age. They're around the same mental capacity. They've got to stop doing that. It's looking really embarrassing when they continue to do that, especially after Trump survived the assassination attempt. And this was the news that I talked about yesterday. Turns out local counter sniper team was inside the building where Thomas Matthew Crooks, the shooter who tried to kill Trump, climbed and opened fire. So basically law enforcement let the shooter get onto the roof, knew about him being there from Trump supporters, and they knew about him. This is all being reported. We'll see if it gets confirmed. The kid was supposedly not only around the entrance where they reported him acting suspicious, he was on the roof 30 minutes before getting back up there and shooting Trump. Oh my God. I don't know. I mean, let's see what comes out, but this is just really, really bad. So right now, obviously, when it comes to the race, it's a total shit show, but Trump is up significantly. You've got the RNC. You've got Trump now. It's come out up in polls in Virginia. I think Trump's looking at around, I know people are talking about 400, 500 electoral votes. I think at least around 360, 370 right now with how epic it was, Trump surviving that, appearing at the RNC, giving a speech, talking about unity. That's going to be coming up in the coming days, apparently. The J.D. Vance pick, that was a big thing. You know, Trump picking J.D. Vance in terms of trying to win an election, like 100% just go try hard on winning the election, like picking a VP, J.D. Vance would not be the number one choice, but Trump wants someone to where if something happens to him, J.D. Vance can have that FU mentality to the media, the MAGA thing where I'm going to push this. And J.D. Vance did say a few things about the Middle East that I didn't like yesterday, but, you know, I'm not going to talk about that right now. The point is, you know, it seemed like the right rallied around J.D. Vance. I would have went with, if you're going to go with someone like Vance, I would have went with Ramaswamy. Maybe Ramaswamy too new to politics, although Vance is young himself. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.